use this triangle to determine the value of z, I see that there's a 30 and a 90-degree angle in here. So what that brings to my mind is the 30, 60, 90 reference triangle. So I'm going to sketch that first of all. I know that this is going to be 60. Obviously, this is not to scale, but it never is when I'm drawing it. So this one is going to be the square root of 3. This is going to be 1. And so now we can set up some proportions, because notice that we're trying to find the value of z. So I'm just going to say z times the square root of 3, z times the square root of 3 is to the square root of 3 as z squared minus 2 is to 1. Note that I'm making my z's different than my 2's. I would highly recommend that as well for you so you don't misread. I've had some less than successful experiences with that in the past, taught me a lesson. Okay, I'm going to simplify this because I can, right? So this square root of 3 cancels, this square root of 3 cancels, leaves me with a 1 here. So when I cross multiply, I'm taking 1 times z, which is z, and then when I'm multiplying this times this, I just get z is equal to z squared minus 2. Notice this is a quadratic equation, so I'm going to bring this z over here. And so I'm going to have a statement that says 0 equals z squared minus z plus 2. Now, we haven't worked with quadratic equations a lot recently, but I'm thinking we can probably just solve this one by factoring rather than by using the quadratic formula. So I'm going to recommend, because we need to look for our factors of positive 2. Factors of positive 2 are 1 and 2. Notice that we need to look for a negative 1. So, whoops, no wonder this isn't making sense. I have a copying error here. I need this to be negative 2. That's why it's not working here. So if we have negative 2, that means we could have 1 and negative 2, or we can have negative 1 and positive 2. Which one of these factors, when we add them together, is going to give us negative 1? Well, obviously it's this pair, so we could say z minus 2 and z plus 1 is equal to 0. So my two options for z are z either equals 2 or negative 1. So do both of these values work? Well, 2 I think is going to work. If we plug 2 in here, that would give us, for this dimension, that would give us 2. Because we would take 4 minus 2, which gives us 2. Here, if we get 2 times the square root of 3, and that works as well. Does negative 1 work, though? Well, plug negative 1 in here. If you plug negative 1 in here, that gives you negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. Positive 1 and negative 2, though, gives you negative 1. That's a negative dimension. You cannot have a negative dimension, which means that the only answer that works is 2.